Hello, hello, good morning. Happy Friday, June 12th, 2026. You are tuned in to the TMI Show, Ted Manila Information Show. TMI is, we give you TMI, but it's also stands for Ted Manila Information Show. I'm Manila Chan. Ted Rawl is on his potty break, so he'll be here in just a minute. Producer Robbie is there in the house. Say hi, Robbie.
Howdy.
And
How y'all
we're
doing?
going to get to an ad right off the top while we're waiting for Ted anyway.
Yeah. Just one
So-
second. I'll go ahead and
Let's
see.
Get that out of the way so that way we don't have to worry about it later.
Nope, I lied. It's not there.
Oh, okay. Robbie lied. So I just want to say it's being that it's Friday and World Cup is starting and Trump is having his UFC cage match on Sunday for his birthday. So like we're going into that. And I have to go into downtown today because I have a girlfriend in town and she insists, she used to live here. So she insists on going downtown like the old days. And I was like, girlfriend, it is not like the old days. This is the Trump days. They ain't the same downtown. She moved away during the Obama era. So it ain't the same downtown. All right. There's Ted. All right. We were going to do an ad.
Manila's out hairing the shit out of us today, Robbie.
I got the good hair today. I cut my own hair. Again.
I don't know how you do that, like the back part. How do you like pull it around?
Well, for women's hair, it's different because you can look. I looked up tutorials on Pinterest, and I know Ted always says he doesn't look at Pinterest because he's a straight man.
Yeah, but I would immediately start like, hitting on dudes if I were. I would be like, what am I doing? Stop.
I mean, look, I learned how to do it on Pinterest, and this is like my third time cutting my own hair. And I got to tell you, Ted, I think I do a pretty good job. And here in DC, like I just saved myself at least $120.
That's outstanding.
Yeah. So 3 haircuts, I'm like almost with tip and everything. I'm like, I've saved $400.
Oh, I'm with you. If I could cut my own hair, I would. I'm happy that my guy only charges $31.
Wow. That's like unheard of in New York.
Although I used to go in Harlem and it was great. Black barbers in New York are the best barbers.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be, you're not going to be in and out in half an hour. It's a whole, like, you're going to be in there for like 2.5 hours and you're going to solve the world's problems, but it's worth it,
2 hours for a man's haircut?
Yeah. Cause you're talking and everyone's hanging and there's people coming in and out. It's a whole thing. It's like
2.5 hours for me. I save time and money now cutting my own hair. Thank you, Pinterest and all the people that post there. And ironically, it's hairdressers that posted the how-to videos.
Mm-hmm.
It's like aren't you cannibalizing your own business by showing us plebes how to do it?
Yeah, that's weird.
But thank you. Like 3 haircuts, that's $400. Anyway, let's get to fun Friday stories. I don't know how fun these are, but we make them fun, Ted.
We're fun. We're fun.
Disease, kids, all that stuff. It's fun.
Pestilence.
It's fun. All right. All right. So as I mentioned, the FIFA World Cup is here. They take to the pitch today. It's kicking off. So America be hosting. And I would say, Ted, I think it's a whole bunch of like ice traps that are set up for brown people.
True.
I'm just going to
like the watch parties and all that stuff. I wouldn't go.
It's a setup for ICE. So as you guys know, when millions of people travel across continents, pack into stadiums, crowd into airports, and celebrate shoulder to shoulder for weeks, public health officials start paying attention. As the World Cup gets underway across the United States, Canada, and Mexico, infectious disease experts say the biggest threats aren't necessarily the viruses dominating headlines. Instead, they're focused on diseases that are already circulating and could spread more easily during one of the largest sporting events in the world. At the top of the list right now, anybody want to take a guess? I just want to throw it to the Rumble Room. It's not Ebola. It's not COVID.
Is it hantavirus?
It's not Hanta. You would think with all the nasty rat droppings everywhere. Surprisingly, I was surprised by this. Measles.
Well, there's been crazy measles outbreaks in places like Texas.
Yes, but that's among like school-age children. These are adults going to like the World Cup and bars and whatever. But I think we should point out, Ted, that in America, the measles vaccine is a common childhood vaccine, but that's not always the case in many other countries. So maybe that's part of why the infectious disease people are like, hey, look out for measles.
But also the MMR, right? Measles, mumps, rubella vaccine, which used to be very standard in the United States, has become more controversial, right? Due to the anti-vax movement. And that's one of the ones that have been targeted. So fewer people are getting their kids vaccinated against those three diseases, including measles, in recent years. And that's part of the reason for the spread. Yeah.
So it says health officials say declining vaccination rates have led to growing outbreaks across North America, making measles one of the most concerning risks associated with large international gatherings. Unlike many diseases, measles is extraordinarily contagious, capable of spreading rapidly through airports, hotels, festivals, and stadiums, all applicable, obviously, to the FIFA World Cup. Experts are also watching for respiratory illnesses. Ted, stay away. COVID-19, influenza, and RSV, along with dengue fever, and of course, STIs, or us old folks, STDs. And we talked about how a couple, what was it, last week when I came back, about all the prostitutes flocking to the host cities. So, look out. Just wrap that thing up, guys. Let me just double bag that thing. The concern isn't that the World Cup will create these diseases. It's the tournament. It's that the tournament creates ideal conditions for them to move between countries and populations. To prepare, health agencies are deploying an impressive array of surveillance tools. Oh, I don't like surveillance. Researchers will monitor wastewater, hospital visits.
That's a huge thing, the wastewater thing. That's how they used to know where COVID was spiking, by looking at the poo water. And then it's like, COVID's in people's assholes these days. So
that's one of the not fun parts of being a scientist, I guess, right? Like if that's your job to monitor the
if you're
water.
Grossed out,
I guess. Obviously, they're going to look at hospital visits, laboratory data, and even social media. That part concerns me. Social media for signs that outbreaks may be emerging. Public health teams across host cities have spent months running drills and preparing response plans. The good news is that experts are not predicting a major health crisis. The more likely outcome is something less dramatic but more familiar. A handful of diseases taking advantage of millions of people gathering in one place at the same time. It's a reminder that in our interconnected world, the biggest public health threats are often not exotic new pathogens. It's the ones we already know. So yeah, I know we're talking about the exotic stuff like hantavirus and Ebola's come back and forth. Like it was a big thing like 10, 12 years ago. It's back. The WHO says it's a epidemic. They called it an epidemic now. So I don't personally like going to big events like this. I'm claustrophobic, Ted. I need space. It's not.
Look, I'm with you. I find the whole thing creepy. I'm not really particularly claustrophobic. I couldn't have lived in New York City for years if I were.
Yeah, I couldn't do that.
Or ridden the subway. But I've ridden the Tokyo Metro. So where they
you get groped.
And well, if you're a lady, you get groped If you're a guy, you're the gropor. But yeah, although I did get groped on the New York subway once by a older lady who decided she had to give me a little butter. I was a much younger man, presumably better looking, and she gave me the under ass cheek. You know,
she was checking the USDA prime beef, Ted.
She was, yeah. Mm-hmm.
She was like, "Let me see what this American beef."
Well,
what's
what's funny is, I always had a fondness for older women, so I was always like,
oh,
if you just ask nicely, we could have worked this out. But
oh, wow, yeah. Ted. Well, so in the Rumble, the Rumble room yesterday, I didn't have a chance because we were moving pretty quickly with Robbie, and Robbie has a lot of feelings about stuff.
What? Not Robbie.
So
this old like taciturn Robbie.
Yes, very passive Robbie. So I couldn't reply in the Rumble room, but I was occasionally peeking over to see what they were saying. It was lit yesterday. The Rumble room they were talking about a million different things, and everyone kept track of all the million different topics. And today, JDC, our local white coat in there, says it isn't that bad. The smell is typically from microbes, and you put it in a lysis buffer, which kills everything. There's definitely a smell, but it isn't as bad as you may think because he does infectious disease.
Oh, that's cool.
So this is right up John D's alley here. So
hopefully not up anything else.
Yeah. So I guess they have a thing that gets rid of the smell, the scientists do.
Well, I don't know, but I do love. Look, the thing is, I'm with you. I hate crowds. Obviously, if you love soccer and you want to see it, live, there's no substitute. Although I don't understand. I mean, like I get the vibe. I mean, it's like at least it's summer. I don't understand why anybody goes to watch football, which is played often in miserable weather. So it's not that fun thing like at the baseball game, where the weather's nice and it's like easy going, and you go mosey down to get an overpriced hot dog and a beer, and it's kind of like, and baseball fans are kind of not as mookish and
yeah, they're pretty chill
and right wing and weird as like football fans, but like but with soccer, and soccer's sort of this way, but I don't know. I mean,
you get the soccer hooligans.
That's true. Yeah, and also it is a slow sport, and I like soccer, but it's boring. And I don't know why it's the world's most popular sport, really.
I'm not
maybe
sure
just because
either.
It's easy all you need is a ball and a pair of shorts, and you can play it anywhere in the world, and that's all you need. You don't need any specialized equipment.
I also don't get why so many people like cricket. I don't get that either.
Well, cricket's basically a form of, it's sort of like bastardized baseball.
Yeah, with a flat bat and like lame ass slow pitch. I mean, relative to baseball pitch.
Yeah, but it's basically the same sport.
Yeah, but it's like, okay, you can't swing a round bat, so you swing a big flat paddle.
So what's the difference? What's so superior about a round bat?
It's much harder to make contact.
So you're saying you're a tool of big lathe.
I'm a tool of a Louisville slugger, Ted.
Oh well, that's my neck of the woods you're talking about there.
So
Louisville's not far from where I grew up.
There's going to be people hooking up all over the place. There's going to be just people coughing on you. Look, I don't mean to be
people arresting you.
That's true. ICE be roaming New York City.
And ICE is going to rape you too. So that's an issue with the STI.
Well, yeah, that's kind of true. There are stories of that. But seriously, Godspeed to all the people that are going out for this thing. But the more I read about like the things you have to worry about when you go to, like people are like, oh, this is a historic thing. The U.S. is hosting FIFA. Like,
by the way,
don't you want to go?
Call it FIFA anymore because there is no other World Cup. It's not like there's the Clovis World Cup. It's like there's just the World Cup. Fuck FIFA and their branding exercise.
It's the branding.
We should not participate in that at all.
The black and white ball that they kick on the ground World Cup.
I will always call it Shea Stadium. It is not Citi Field. Fuck that.
Oh, is that they changed the name?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
It's
corporate
not Shea
sponsorship.
Stadium?
Yeah.
Oh. Staples Center isn't Staples Center anymore. I don't know what
They keep
I don't know what
renaming
they
these things all the time.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's
To
still
me, it'll
Staples
always
Center.
be Candlestick Park, not whatever bro startup.
That's changed too?
Oh, they changed it a bunch of times. Yeah.
Oh, that's how I remember them. So I don't know. But anyway, Godspeed to all those people. This is gross and grimy. It's not for me. I don't know if the TMI folks, I think they're kind of more similar to us anyways, Ted. So they're not going to be catching diseases. My type of people. My type of
Manila,
people.
before our next story, I got to ask you a question. You have siblings?
Yeah.
How many, and where are you in the birth order?
I'm between me and my biological brother, I'm the eldest. This will make sense for the next story, folks. So I'm the eldest, but I also have two stepbrothers, and they lived with us part-time. So I'm still the eldest. I even beat their
So you have one
three.
bio
Yeah.
bro.
And two other stepbros that became my stepbrothers when I was in high
younger than
school.
your bro?
There's one that's like a year younger than me and one that's a year older than my brother.
Oh, okay. All right.
So they're literally wedged between me and my brother. So I'm still the eldest sister.
Gotcha.
And the only sister. So
okay.
This will make sense. And Ted's an only child.
Yes, that's right.
But this is the next story I think is fun because I think a lot more people have siblings than not.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's what this one is. And they give us diseases too, Ted.
There's more of us than there used to be. But yes.
Oh, solo kids?
Yeah.
That's another super spreader thing. If you have siblings, your siblings get you sick.
Good times.
It's a perk of having siblings. Here we go.
Okay, so for decades, birth order theories have occupied a strange spot between science and folklore. Firstborns are supposedly responsible. Youngest children are carefree. Some would say worthless. Middle children are overlooked. The reality is more complicated, but that doesn't mean birth order doesn't matter. A growing body of research now suggests that younger siblings often experience slightly different life outcomes than firstborns, particularly when it comes to education and earning money. The reason might be surprisingly simple: parental attention. Firstborn kids get a lot more one-on-one time with their parents during their early years, and that's an advantage that accumulates over time. By adolescence, younger kids receive thousands fewer hours of activities such as reading, conversation, and direct engagement with parents compared to their older brothers or sisters. Doesn't mean that if you're born later, you're gonna, end up in prison, but it might help explain some of the differences observed in long-term studies. So the encouraging news is that birth order is not destiny. Experts are increasingly arguing that what matters most is not where you fall in the lineup, but how families respond, making time for each child individually, avoiding comparisons between siblings. As an only child, I've watched parents do this over and over. Why can't you be more like Linda? Why can't you be more like Laura? And ensuring younger kids receive meaningful responsibilities and attention might offset many of the disadvantages associated with being born later. Okay, this is sophistry. Okay, it's like, okay, so the good news is that if people start behaving radically different than the way they actually do behave, then there won't be a problem. Well, big fucking duh. The good news is that if we stop buying, giant, gas guzzling cars, we might be able to save the planet from burning up, but we're not going to. Anyway, the broader lesson might be that family dynamics shape children in subtle ways that kids don't always notice.
No, parents don't always notice.
All in all, after all, by the time child number 2 or 3 arrives, parents are often juggling more responsibilities, tighter schedules, and more competing demands than they had when they just had the one. And of course, children may not remember every bedtime story or conversation, but over the course of a childhood, those small differences can add up. Or if you're the sixth kid, they won't add up to very much because you won't get very many of them.
Oh, here, Robbie, I thought you were like one of 10 or something.
I am number 8 of 9.
You're number 8 of 9.
That's crazy.
I am the youngest son. I have a younger sister. My oldest sister's old enough to be my mom.
Okay.
Yeah.
My father-in-law was number 16 out of 16.
Oh my God. Okay, so I got to ask of outcomes, Robbie. Is the eldest or the one and number 1 and number 2
were they favored?
Were they favored, and did they do better in life than you did?
Well, that's a very low bar, but I mean, come on now. So my oldest sister, yeah, I mean, she got a career working with the banks. I mean, she lacked for no good thing.
This is the eldest one, the number one.
The eldest sister. She's the only one that didn't get into drugs and alcohol, that kind of thing. So that played a role. By the time it got down,
the youngest one.
Yeah, by the time my youngest one she's probably the most normal out of all of us. Like, no, she's probably the most, and by normal I mean like she's the one that probably just works a 9 to 5, is married, has a couple of kids, just has the normal life.
Right.
Then you've got
the
me.
Normie.
Yeah, she's the normie. Then you've got me. I'm not sure what you qualify me as. Probably the rabid dog. And the rest of them are
normie,
just
right.
They're just drug addict. They're just drugged out meth heads, white trash, failed abortions, whatever you want to call them.
In other words, future cabinet members.
Yeah, I mean, they contribute absolutely nothing. I mean, they should actually get refund the trees for the oxygen that they breathe. So seriously,
this story was in the Washington Post, and it's a much longer read. It's like a really long article, and obviously it's a social science, which not. I don't know if it's necessarily a science by the way we define science. But they did a lot of polls and stuff, and they say firstborns like me, over the course of the lifetime, will make millions of dollars, probably at least $1 million more than subsequent siblings. And I would say that's probably true in relative to my family. Even though like my stepbrothers became my stepbrothers when I was like a sophomore in high school. But let's just say I had no qualms about asserting my position at the house. I don't know if that's going to surprise anybody.
That's shocking.
So
I would not see that.
Stop the presses.
and to this day, I'm still like the big sister to everybody, and everybody, we're all much older now. Obviously, everyone's like around 40 plus, or 40-ish, and then some at this point. So they're all grown. But up until this point, everybody did kind of rely on me to ask, well, what about this? How do you do that? What's living over here like? Should I vacation here? How do I save money on this? So they asked me like anything about like life experience, right? Because I'm the eldest sibling and I'm a very type A person. Everybody else is a little more chill, Ted.
Well, okay.
But they say that's how the firstborns are. Is the firstborns tend to be a little more type A, and I don't know if it's because of the birth order itself and like somehow God programs you that way, or
what is type A? What does that even mean? What is type A?
Like
bossy or what? Assertive?
Yeah, like
no, neither one of those.
I wouldn't say it's that.
Is like more. I think aggressive would be the right word, right? Like basically, someone who's more
very forward,
driven, aggressive. Yeah.
Like, I'm very forward. I know what I want. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to tell you, I'll
opposite
steamroll your ass if
the
I need
opposite of like a chill dude, like a surfer. The opposite of like, dude, whatever. Like the opposite
That's
of
my
Keanu
brother.
Reeves. Yeah.
That's my brother, my biological brother.
So me and Manila are type A types.
100%.
My biological brother is a type B skater, like whatever, like leave me alone. I want to go camping and skateboard. Like that's I mean, he's married with a house and kids now, but you know, that's how he is I'm surprised. Let me just say that. Let me just say I wasn't sure he was ever going to get to that point in life because he was so like Keanu Reeves surfer type, like California. Whereas I was like, what are you doing? Like, no, I feel like moving the furniture. I need to move the furniture now. I need to redecorate right now. It's going to happen right now. But it's 2:00 in the morning. Get up. We're doing it. Got to be ready for the morning. Do it right now. Got to make your bed. Got to make the bed. That's the smallest first thing you can do to start your day to make sure you get off on the right foot. You got to make your bed. That's who I am. My brother
I don't
was
do that.
opposite.
So I slept like 3 hours last night. So I went to bed, woke up, and immediately just started coding. And I don't care about the
type A,
bed.
by the way. Type A.
Yeah, that's your type A. You have your baby, your AI, and I had my human baby. So I get it in a couple hours, but I still have to like get at it. That's type A personality. That's usually something a trait you find in like the firstborns. Not you're way down the line. So that's really uncommon. The article didn't really say anything about solo kids, Ted. This is strictly about kids with siblings.
Well, I've read a lot about birth order. My ex-wife was kind of obsessed with birth order books and stuff, and so I looked at some of her stuff. And the general consensus is probably unsurprisingly that a solo kid tends to basically be like a firstborn.
Oh,
so
that makes sense.
Yeah, I was doing some studies on solo kids. I guess that your kind of people, Ted, are really big into incest porn.
That's true.
Yes. Ted.
I mean, yeah, I told you about that.
Yeah, because Ted has no idea. He thinks it's like a sibling is just like a whole another separate person. They're not. They're like a piece of you. And you're like, it's gross.
Yeah,
no, that's what makes it hot.
Yeah,
no.
so I just went in and started doing just a deep dive, just a study. It's like, what the hell is going on here? And yeah, it's just weird.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like Ted said, it's kind of sophistry. I don't know why it was a full-blown like featured article, Ted, in the Washington Post.
They do that every now and then. I mean, it's also like, well, the good news is that the bad news doesn't have to be bad if human nature fundamentally changes. Thank you, George. Thank you, Jeff Bezos. Fuck you.
Yeah, and so I'm seeing this and I'm like, well, I mean, maybe this is what people are really interested in because WAPO, this is like a 12-minute read, like a full-blown feature article. It's not, I mean, sure, it's not front page news, but it's one like when you get to
clicky, right?
And I'm like, is there anything new here that maybe Ted can weigh in on being a solo kid, Robbie having 100 siblings?
Not really. I mean, there's nothing new here, really. I mean, look, here's the thing. Other things that happen, they don't talk about that, is often parents tend to have more money usually when they have
that's true.
Later in life when they have more kids.
Later.
Yeah, because they're further along in their careers, right? And so
that's true.
And so they have more money, and that makes the younger kids usually more spoiled.
My brother was way more spoiled. They were from my family. They were newer-ish.
So they have less attention, more money, which is
more junk. He got more. He got Nintendo and all that shit
for idle hands, right?
Yeah, my brother got all the gadgets, Nintendo, all that shit because we're 7 years apart. They were new-ish immigrants when I was born, like only a couple of years into the U.S. and much younger. So they spent a lot of time with me, and I remember that. There's photos, like we went up and down the state. We went to San Francisco. We did this, and we'd go to the zoo. We'd go like everything. There are tons of pictures. We're at the beach all the time. They were much younger when they had me, obviously. And so they invested the time. And I don't know if that's what made me me, or if I was born type A or I was molded into type A. I don't know. Was Robbie born type A, or was he somehow molded into type A? I don't know. Like, and nobody can
I have a
define that
theory
even
about
still.
Robbie. Robbie was effectively abandoned and had
He had to be type A.
He had worthless parents, and so basically he realized at an early age
Shit ass
he
is what
can
I call
either
them.
fucking make things happen for himself or he's gonna die, and those are his choices. Robbie.
Yeah, but there are a lot of kids that come from households like that, and they wind up on the streets of San Francisco.
Sure.
On
Well,
heroin.
those are the ones who decide who die, basically.
Yeah.
That's the choice.
So it's type A or whatever type personality you have. Are you born with it, or is it something that parents have molded? That's basically the takeaway from this article is
I think
your
parents
parents
mold.
can
I think
mold
parents
you.
mold it, and if you're like on your own and you're feral, like Robbie was, and like I was in part, you end up having to count on yourself, and that either works out or it doesn't work out at all, and you just fucking fall off.
Well,
That's it.
You have two options, and I can speak for this from experience as I lived it. So you really have two options. Either one, you can get mad, which is what I did, or you can just give in to hopelessness. And those are the two. Those are really the two options that you have.
Mhm.
And I refused to be what my dad told me I was going to be. I refused to be what my brothers and sisters were, and so
That's called grit.
it was
Or
called being,
survival.
yeah, it was just called being pissed off. I mean, honestly, it was just, and I mean, to this day, I deal with it a lot. Like there are times where if I get mad, I just have to go away and be by myself for a while because I will
That's
say
good.
I will say or do something I do not want to do. Or whenever whenever
That's
the
good
kids were younger,
self-control.
if the kids were doing something, because I believe in corporal punishment, spare the rod, spoil the child. If the kid really made me mad, I was almost always a disciplinarian, but if a kid was just really just out of hand, I would tell kids, I said, I will need you to take care of this because I will hurt this child.
Self-control, Robbie.
And
Because you were kind of a battered child, so you know
that's
better.
that's why I've never drank, is because I'm scared to death. Well, first that I would like it, and second that I would lose control.
Both of those things is probably true.
Yeah. And you also, as one of the last kids, you had the benefit of seeing what worked and didn't work for your older siblings, because you guys are so far out, like spread out in age. You got to see that. Like, you guys aren't like a normal age gap, like sibling group, right? You guys are so disparate in age because there's so many of you, I guess.
Oh, they didn't care. I mean, they're all drunk and on drugs too,
That's what I'm saying.
just like my dad was. It was just
That's
like,
what I'm saying.
I'm out.
You got to see not only your parents, but your siblings are so much older that you got to see what worked and didn't work. So I guess, I don't know if maybe they don't study things like that because America doesn't have families with that many kids anymore. Like it doesn't happen. So they don't really study that sort of thing anymore. The studies are now, 1, 2, 3 kids, 4 kids tops. So big family studies. I don't think there's anything modern that I've read actually about big families and how that works, that anything beyond, since mid-century, because people stopped having big families somewhere around the 1950s and 60s. They just kind of stopped. So
Well, it's
it
because of
got too
birth
damn
control.
expensive. Oh, because of birth control too. Yeah. I was going to say too expensive. All of the things. And don't say it, Robbie. Women's lib.
And also and also the fact that we're not as much of an agrarian society.
Yeah.
I mean, 40% of American workers before World War II worked directly or indirectly on a farm. Now it's fewer than 1%.
Well, this is a Robbie point, and I'll go ahead and make it. But yeah, like there's women's liberation, there's birth control that goes right with it, and there's like
Farmers always wanted to have lots of kids to help out.
yeah, social changes, religious changes, religious ideology, all
We
that,
should
all
move
that
on
plays
because I'm
into it.
dying to get to this last story.
Yeah. All right. So there you go. Nothing we know has changed in birth order. They can't prove anything. The Washington Post insists that it's just your birth order isn't going to define who you are. And I think Robbie's a good example of that because usually the last few kids are usually fuck ups because the parents get more laxed and they're tired and they're like, fuck.
True.
So there you go. All right. So this one, back to my home state. I have a lot to say about the elections in my home state, but that's not this topic. It's another topic I care about, Ted. So for the first time in years, California has something unusual to report. Oh, Robbie, sorry, I forgot to move you. California has something unusual to report about homelessness. The numbers have gone down for the first time in decades. According to newly released federal data, California's homeless population fell by roughly 3%. I know everyone's going to like 3%. That's any move in that direction, guys. Like you guys don't know unless you're from California or you've seen it firsthand. I had a family member that I helped pull out of homelessness, and it's no easy feat. But the homeless population fell by 3% in 2025, while the number of people living, as they say, unsheltered on sidewalks, in tents, vehicles, encampments, whatever, that declined by 8%. So I don't know if there's a distinction here. I don't know how the article makes a difference, what the difference is,
Well,
Ted, but
the difference is that there's overall homelessness includes unsheltered people is just like it sounds like. It's the homeless
the
as you
sidewalk people,
think of the homeless, like people sleeping outside, right?
sidewalk neighbors.
Right. Now there's the hidden homeless who are a much bigger population. And those are the people who are like crash, the person who comes and crash, like, dude, can I
that's
crash
true.
on your sofa?
The couch surfers, the people in their cars that you don't see that won't get surveyed. I guess that's
think
true.
The car people are technically considered unsheltered, but I could be wrong.
Motel people.
Sure.
There's motel people, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's true.
But
overall,
there's a lot of couch surfers, a lot of them.
Yeah. Overall, the numbers in California have gone down for the first time in my adult life. So that's a big deal. So California is home to nearly 190,000 homeless individuals. I think that's severely undercounting, accounting for almost a third of the nation's homeless population. I'm sure that's
almost
true.
A third. According to the Coalition for the Homeless, there's 770,000 nationally.
Yeah. For years, critics have pointed to the state's worsening homelessness crisis despite tens of billions of dollars being spent on housing, shelters, mental health programs, and outreach efforts. Governor Gavin Newsom's administration says the new numbers suggest those investments are beginning to produce results. State officials point to the creation of tens of thousands of shelter beds, expanded mental health services, and aggressive efforts by cities to move people out of the encampments into temporary housing. So that's why I say I don't know if these numbers are absolutely true, because when you move them into temporary housing, it just long enough to do the new homeless census data, then they don't get counted. Then it's temporary housing, and then they're back out on the street. I've seen this stuff firsthand. That's why I'm saying articles is not everyone's convinced. I'm one of them. Critics note that even after the decline, California's homeless population remains larger than the population of many American cities. Housing affordability continues to be among the worst in the nation,
by far.
And many communities, still struggle with visible street homelessness, addiction, and untreated mental illness. Still, the data marks a notable shift. For years, the conversation in California has been about how much worse the problem was getting. Now, the question is whether the year's decline represents the beginning of a sustained trend or simply a rare bright spot in one of the state's most persistent challenges. Either way, after years of moving in the wrong direction, California has a statistic finally pointing the other way. So I'm happy. Look, you and I know, Ted, that when it comes to data and numbers, you can have it, you can manipulate it to read however you want.
No doubt.
There are ways to do this.
And
I'm very
it's highly
skeptical.
politicized, and there's all sorts of reasons to manipulate
Right.
the data either way.
On this one, especially on this one, right?
Mhm.
Like if
Yeah.
you're Mayor Karen Bass or you're Gavin Newsom trying to get somebody
you're
ready.
running for president in 2028. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, and I mean, he's going to be judged based on, I mean, when people who are focusing on the primary start to look at their record, they're going to be like, oh, well, he was the governor of California. How did they do? And they're going to look at this, right? So,
and they're going to be like, oh, on his way out, look, it finally paid off after 10 years. He
I'm
left with
skeptical because
a dwindling population.
California has not signed on to the one thing that really does seem to work, which are these programs in actually some conservative cities like Denver and in certain cities.
Denver's not conservative.
Sort of. I mean, it's not New York. But basically, housing first is the way. So basically, where it used to be like, oh, if you were addicted to drugs, they would not give you shelter until you stopped drinking and until you were clean and sober. Yeah. Now, in these places, what they do is they say, oh, let's move you in, let's find you a house, let's find you shelter. And now that you're sheltered, we will help get you off drugs and booze, right? And that works. People
yeah.
have really, and I mean, obviously, I don't have to explain why. So California doesn't do that. They should. It's very effective. The numbers are startling. You're not talking about single-digit decreases. You're talking about 40% decreases. So that's what they should be doing.
Well, also,
we'll see. I really want to get to this
local
next
municipalities.
Story,
local municipalities in California, up and down the state, local and state laws need to change as far as like allowing for these little tiny shelters, these tiny homes to be these tiny home parks, right?
Mm-hmm.
You also need to crack down on all of these supposed nonprofits. These nonprofits that are supposed to be helping the poor and the destitute, who's more destitute than people on Skid Row. I lived in downtown LA. Like I saw this for several years firsthand, and I have a family member, like I said, that I myself pulled out of homelessness, and it took years. Homelessness, drugs, all of that, and it takes years. At least in California, the state of California does not make it fucking easy it makes it easy to become homeless, but fucking impossible to get out of homelessness, Ted. Like, you can't go get a driver's license or even a California ID without a fucking address. Right? So, like, you can't, then you try to go get like some sort of health and human services. Like, I need to see a doctor or whatever. Okay, well, you need to get Medicaid. How do you get Medicaid? You need an ID. How do you get an ID? You need an address. I don't have an address. It's this like doom loop of it's the snake eating its own tail. Then the city is like, oh, we need to put up more shelters and we need to put more beds in there. And then, oh, what about this new idea of the tiny house villages or whatever? Oh, but there's housing regulation, and then you need the housing inspectors to go look at all of these to make sure they're compliant and blah blah blah, and they have ingress and egress, and they have just fucking ease the laws because you're trying to get people off the street and getting them cleaned off drugs. Like, you need some flexibility, and California has been completely inflexible in all of those things, which is why the homeless population keeps growing and people feel like it's impossible to get help because, like I said, the doom loop, without an ID to begin with, you can't do anything. You can't get Medicaid. You can't get food stamps. You can't get yourself into like some sort of, like drug program because you can't prove your identity because the fucking DMV won't give you an ID without an address.
Mm-hmm.
So if you say, I live outside, the 7-Eleven at 123 Fifth Avenue, downtown LA, that doesn't count.
Let's move on. We only have 11 minutes left, and I'm dying to do this last story.
All right. So there's for LA, and Gavin Newsom is going to run for president, and that's why this is secretly a cheerlead story for Gavin Newsom.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Scientists have long known that stress, sleep, and family income affect how kids develop. A new study suggests those factors may be leaving measurable fingerprints on the developing brain.
Pause, Ted. Pause. We keep missing people's donations. Sir Bikes a Lot, thank you for the donation. Sir Bikes a Lot says, Brian Goldstone wrote a book on the working homeless, a demographic of people who are fully employed but can't afford a home. I'm a part of this demographic. Wow. Yeah, the working poor.
Yeah, there's a lot of those people.
Especially in California. Oh my gosh. Holy moly. And yesterday we had an IOU to Phileas Fob, I think. Thank you for the donation. We missed you yesterday, Phileas Fob. And Robbie, this one's to you. Ironically, where I live, Brits and Irish have overrun the place and don't assimilate, sticking to their expat communities, driving up the cost of housing to where it's among the most expensive cities. So I don't know where Phileas Fob lives, but we were talking about like Belfast. So that's from that conversation yesterday. But I wanted to hit up Phileas Fob because people that donate, obviously, like we don't want them to feel like we're not paying attention to them. So thank you. But yeah, working poor. I'm sorry to hear that, Sir Bike's Lot, but maybe go to a city that is more friendly to the working class if you can. I don't know where that is in America. All right, Ted. Sorry.
Okay.
Please start over.
All right. Scientists have long known that stress, sleep, and family income affect how kids develop. A new study suggests that those factors might be leaving measurable fingerprints on the developing brain itself. Researchers find that kids who grow up in neighborhoods with higher poverty rates, greater stress, and fewer resources show differences in brain development compared to kids from more affluent communities. This adds to a growing body of research suggesting the childhood environment isn't just shaping behavior, it's shaping the brain during developmental years. One of the strongest factors is sleep. Kids who consistently get enough sleep tend to show healthier patterns of brain development. Chronic stress was also associated with changes in brain regions involved in learning, memory, and emotional regulation and decision making. Brain development is highly adaptable throughout childhood, of course, and positive interventions can make a big difference. Access to safe neighborhoods. This is like that other story. If you change capitalism, stable housing, quality schools, healthcare, and supportive relationships all help to buffer kids against the effects of chronic stress. Perhaps the most important takeaway is that we need a communist revolution to overthrow capitalism. No, is that the study shifts the conversation away from individual choices and towards environment. Parents worry about screen time, homework, and extracurriculars, but the research suggests that neighborhood safety, economic stability, and sleep might be just as important, if not more so. So for you parents who've been deciding to be economically unstable, please decide to become economically stable.
That's what this article says.
Okay.
For your kids' brain development.
Yeah, even though you yourself are enjoying being poor and living in the slums, stop thinking of yourself, think of your kids, and agree to accept that big raise that your boss offered you and move to a nicer neighborhood. The noise thing, the sleep thing mattered. I was obsessed with this for a long time. I still am, I guess, because I'm remembering it now. But in New York City, there's a number of subways that are still elevated. They're not
Oh,
buried
yeah.
underground. And in Upper Manhattan, there was a subway line that went past a public school where someone did a study. The MTA, the train rounded a little bit of a turn right by the school, and so
Okay.
neighbors complained about the squealing of the trains as they went by, like
Oh, because it's braking, because it's turning.
as it was turning, right? So like the grinding of the wheels. So the MTA did a noise amelioration thing there, and
Hmm.
they put in rubber gaskets so that it quieted it down.
Okay.
It went from like 120 to like 30 decibels. Um,
Oh,
anyway,
a lot.
remarkably, there were no other changes at the school, right? Basically, the principal didn't change, the teachers, there was no major churn, students' class sizes were about the same. Test scores shot through the roof after they did this, because kids were not distracted during school
Well,
by every 3 minutes by the passing of a subway, right?
ugh.
Like screeching. I took the PSAT twice. The first time I took it, it was in a gym. It was in the school cafeteria, and they were
I did
getting ready
too.
to make lunch, and the lunch ladies with their hairnets were banging around the pots and pans.
Clank, clank. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't do great. I did
Okay.
I mean, enough to get into, say, Ohio State, but not great. Um, I took it again, and I asked where it was going to be held. I remember being distracted. I couldn't focus because of all the noise, and you could hear them carrying on. And they were like, "Oh, we're doing it in the library." Like, great. Now, granted, I'd done a similar test before, so that helps to have seen. Just when you just have seen a test and you're like, oh, you know what to expect, like what this is going to be. And they're not the same questions, but you understand the format.
Yeah.
The results couldn't have been more different.
Really?
It couldn't be explained by just having seen it.
Well,
And so, I mean, I vouch for that for sure. I mean,
oh,
um,
I'm sure that's largely true for the masses. And look, I'm a kid that grew up in Whittier at the East LA border, right? Along the San Gabriel River Valley. And Ted, if my immigrant parents, if they only would have not been in the 90606 and just decided to be in the 90210, you know,
mhm,
the zip code, Ted.
yep,
Beverly Hills 90210.
of course.
Why they didn't just decide that for me? I don't know. Clearly they didn't love me. Um, but instead I grew up in 90606, and I was about 1 block away from um the train tracks,
Mhm.
like 1 block over. And also a major thoroughfare,
Those
Slauson
would have been
Avenue,
freight trains, right?
freight trains.
Mhm.
Well, Amtrak went through there too, but mostly freight. So you could hear the long screech, when they're trying to slow down to come to the
Mhm.
station or go over the thing to the over the San Gabriel Valley River. Um, and then I lived off of Slauson Avenue. If
Mhm.
people
Mhm.
know from the LA riots, that's a major drag, right? A main drag in Los Angeles. So I hear cars whizzing, and back in the 80s and 90s, it was the ghetto birds overhead. There's cop sirens going on. There's helicopters. There's dudes evading police. So I had city noise and threats and fear and safety concerns, and I had all of the things that this article is talking about. But again, maybe it's because I was born type A, and so now as an adult, when it's too quiet, I'm freaked out. It's the opposite for me. If
Oh,
it's
that's
too
so funny.
quiet, I can't
You're
I
like
can't
Nick
function.
Lowe used to say. I had that song. I like the sound of breaking glass. He was used to
I
it.
need like TV noise. I need something. If cars aren't whizzing by, like it's not normal to me. It kills me that I have to be completely silent because my infant, she's she rattles very easy. Like she's not like my son. My son was just like whatever. Like he could be in the cop car with the sirens going. He just zonk out. This girl is like she's just like every time anything you like the toast pops up on the toaster and she's like ah. I'm like, oh my god. So I have to be completely silent. It drives me crazy.
Manila, I've got a hard out. I've got
Me too.
DMZ coming up.
DMZ on Friday?
I know. It's Friday. I was supposed to have it yesterday, but I couldn't do it. So we're doing it today.
Oh, all right. So you guys stay tuned for that. Ted and I both have places to be, people to do.
True.
Thank you for tuning in. So I don't know about all of these kids' studies. I need the noise. Ted needs the quiet. So there you go.
I do much prefer the quiet. It's true.
Really? And you lived in New York City for like 30 years. I don't know.
Although I got to say, the last apartment that I lived in New York City was exceedingly quiet. It was like living in the country. It was in a quiet neighborhood, and it was on a side street, and it faced an air shaft with trees and birds. So, and so it was like very rarely.
Was it Upper West Side?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh, the Upper West Side is not Midtown.
Although I don't know. I mean, I used to live on the west side of Amsterdam at 101st Street, and holy shit, it was loud. Across the street from a public park, a playground, a fire station, a police station, and my personal favorite, the giant metal plate in the street that the bus would go over like every 2 minutes. Boom, 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 boom.
That you were always at risk of falling into.
And there were drug dealers selling stuff out of the bodega on the ground floor. So yeah.
Well, dude, it ain't home for me if I don't have cholo gangbangers down the street.
Oh, you would have loved that place. Okay. Gotta go. Bye.
All right, everybody. Have a good weekend. Enjoy your weekend. Go see UFC at the White House. Happy birthday, Donald Trump. Bye.
Good morning. How are you?